Hey, what up, everyone? My name is Emmanuel Macaulay Afemikhe. I am the convener of the Voiceover Conference.
Can you give us a little insight into your background and why you became interested in the voiceover industry?
How I started? Well, I think I started first of all by loving voice work, all right? And Chief Zebudaya, the new masquerade back in the days, actually spurred my love for voice work. And after that time, I did a bit of, on stage. And even when I came to Lagos, I was still doing some stage acting and all that, a bit into music here and there. And then I was always around the music production studio or a music production studio working with Pastor Walls, who taught me, of course, how to, produce sound, how to design sound, how to edit audio and all of that. But because of how I spoke or how I talked, he would say, you have a good voice and all that. Try voiceovers and stuff like that. And not long, a lot of friends would say, oh, we want to do these things, do this thing, help us voice it. And gradually I started voicing. It was initially free, and a lot of guys would just say, oh, help me do it. And I was always so excited to do it because, of course, I love to talk, right? So I was just talking without money, okay? And then at some point I realized that friends were now giving me tips like, okay, take this one, oh, take this recharge card, oh, this and that. And small money were coming in, not until 2010 or 2010, 2011. I made my first 100K as a voiceover talent with a job that Pastor Wale Adesonya and I produced. And from there, I was like, okay, let's start doing this. So it's been interesting. Yeah, that's it. That's how I started. I didn't know what voiceovers was, not until I started, right? And I started learning some more, reading more, practicing, and just growing.
Why did you begin the voiceover conference?
I didn't hear that.
Why did you begin the voiceover conference?
Oh yes, I mean Nigeria or Africa per se, our industry is very unique. I remember the day I told a friend in the US that in Nigeria we don't have agents, we don't have companies that manage voiceover actors and all that, and she was shocked to the bone. Like, how is that possible? How are you guys doing this thing? All right, I realized that in Nigeria we have, so many challenges where voiceover is concerned. And I, for one, feel that voiceover is more than how a lot of people see it. Now, not just the clients, but even the voiceover talents, they just feel like it's not a big deal. But then my understanding is if you are able to make 5K, for instance, from anything you do, if you position yourself well, you can make 500K from that same thing. All right, so I figured that one of the challenges that we have in Nigeria is positioning, right? For voiceovers is not positioned properly, or is not in a place where people want to recognize it or people want to really pay for it. Even the voiceover talents do not think that it is something that is a big deal. But if you look at the developed world, you realize that voiceovers is a big deal. Voice acting is a big deal. It's something that people should do as a means of livelihood. So I felt like one of the ways to change this was to change the minds of people, because every change begins from the mind. And if we must do that, then we have to have an event that brings people, professional stakeholders, and even newbie voiceover talents together, to have certain conversations. That was why we started the Voiceover Conference. And so far, I think it's been doing amazing. This is the third edition we're working towards. And I think that if we are able to align our minds and we can work together, then that's a start of a massive change that we need to move the industry forward.
Why do you think the conference is so important in today's climate?
Yes, like I said, change is constant. That's the first thing. And we realize, even looking at it from the focus of this year's conference, the future, survive or die, you realize that a lot of things are happening. The way voiceovers were done before, the way voiceover talents were seen, it's drastically changing, especially with with technology and a whole lot of things changing, content becoming something really important. I just thought that the voiceover industry is also a place, or voiceover artistry as it were, is something that we should also look into. So yes, people are in voiceovers and growing and doing stuff, and I think right now is the time. It's a better time to be born or to be alive, because the information is getting really serious. People now have access to a lot of things, and voiceovers should not be left out. We need to keep growing the industry. We need to keep seeing that this thing is something that we can grow and we can become more with. So if not now, when? I mean, it's always important to note that voiceovers is a continuous thing. It doesn't have a specific time where you have to do it. Now is the time. If we didn't do it last year, we need to do it today. So we've been struggling with a lot of things. We need to continue the conversations, and when everyone is aligned, like I said earlier, then there will be actions, there will be moves to ensuring that things become better. It's a gradual process, but we are on the journey.
Some people say the gig economy is tough, so it's better to stay in more structured field. What do you say to them?
In a more structured field, well, I wouldn't dispute them. A lot of people want safety. A lot of people want to be sure of what's happening. But then I believe that the world is not changed, or people who do things are people who are willing to take the risk. Okay, so there are some people who are willing to take the risk. Yes, it's looking like, oh, it's not structured right now, especially because you need that safety. That's why we usually tell people right now, if you want to go into the voiceover industry, or voiceovers as it were, try as much as you can to have something doing. Right? Grow your voiceover career or your voiceover passion by the side, and then until you grow to a point where you know that you can stand, then you can decide to really focus into doing voiceovers. But regardless, some of us, people like me and other guys that are working in the in the industry or in the space, we want to take the risk to change things. We want to test the waters. We want to disrupt the way things have been done. We want to change the status quo. That's where that's where I believe that I sit. Okay, a position that will ask questions, a position that would want to say, we've been doing this for this long, how about we try something else? It might not work out, but then it's better to try than not doing anything at all. But I am sure that with time, as we go on, as we keep pushing and keep growing, keep understanding, things will change for the best.
Who do you think needs the voiceover conference, and what do they stand to gain by attending?
Well, who needs the voiceover conference? I think everyone that first of all uses their voice. So everyone that, if you know that you are in a position where you manage people, you talk to people, you try to convince people, and of course, if you're in love with voiceovers, if you know what voiceovers are and you want to be part of the movements, the industry, or if you're just trying to change careers, if you are a fresh graduate and you want to test the waters, you want to put yourself in positions where you have better chances of getting jobs and all that, voiceovers is for you. A lot of people think that voiceover is just recording behind the microphone, but what I'm doing right now is not recording behind the microphone. I am talking, responding to questions, answering questions. It has nothing to do with me recording a commercial. But because I'm a voiceover actor, I am able to talk to you in a way that is more interesting, more engaging, because I know what it means to be engaging with your voice. And then, of course, as a voiceover talent, you have that level of confidence that your voice grows, that when you're talking in any, gathering or social gathering, it works perfectly well, just because you know how to use your voice. You know how to manipulate your voice. You know how to make your voice fun enough to be listened to. All right, so if you know that you're in marketing, you're in sales, you talk to people, you are a leader, voiceover at some point or the other should be for you. And if you're a fresh graduate trying to find out what life is, in the career space, trust me, there are lots of people who are employed by adverts agencies, by companies, because they have this extra called voiceovers. So you want to try as much as you can to get your hands around. That's why the conference is important to you. Come see the amazing things that are going to happen. Okay, and the future is big. The future, survive or die. Will you survive? Will you thrive? Will you die? Finally, the future is coming, whether you like it or not. All right. My name remains Emmanuel Macaulay Afemikhe. God bless you and bye.